Here you're folding my sheets.
All right, here we are. That's right. Here we are. And, who doesn't want to tune in live on Parenting Porcupines to watch Jessica fold sheets and Kasie try to recover from vertigo? So this is our first attempt at the live stream. Our goal is to ultimately be a live stream broadcast every single week using our YouTube channel. And so this is the last week of the campaign for Jo Jorgensen and Spike Cohen, Libertarian candidates for president and vice president, respectively. And we've got some cool stuff coming up this week. But the first thing I want to say is I've been using this email subscriber list, and I've been sending out, here's the subscription, here's what's happening this week on the campaign. And I'm using MailChimp. And the great thing about MailChimp is that it does allow you to import contacts. It does allow you to create these super cool graphic laden emails. It's very user friendly to shape those emails and all that sort of thing. You can send a test email ahead of time. Like, you feel like a badass marketer when you're using MailChimp. The bad thing about MailChimp is I think people get so many of these emails that they don't recognize that this is one they actually want to open and read. And I thought, well, okay, it's going to look professional, so people are going to like it and they're going to want to engage with this email, right? But what I found is when I send it directly from my personal account, like, hey, Jessica, here's what's happening, people respond. When I send it through the MailChimp distribution, I'm getting like 20% open rates. And 20% is not bad, but it's not good either. Like, it's not good, right? Especially when all these people volunteered. They volunteered. They said they wanted this, and they're still not opening it. I'm like, come on, you got to be kidding me. So anyway, so I sent that out this week for the last week of the campaign. We're inside a week from Election Day next Tuesday. And, now I'm kind of thinking about, what do you really have to do to get people's attention if they don't open the email that they ask you to send? I don't know. So the bad thing about MailChimp, it will tell you that. It will tell you that people haven't opened it. It will tell you how many people have clicked through. It will even tell you who your best readers are, the people who've clicked on every one, the people who've been subscribed and have opened every single email I've sent them. Those people get a gold star. The rest of them, they sort of suck.
I'm not getting a gold star.
You've been throwing my shit in your spam folder. I know it. I know that that's the case.
I accidentally trashed one last night because I had so many emails and I accidentally moved it to trash.
And so here's my other heartburn with that, right? Because email would not be my preferred method of contacting people.
Yeah, mine either.
But you know that they didn't give me addresses. When people signed up to be part of this, they only took their email address. I do have some phone numbers, but other than that, I just have email addresses. And I think the entire campaign shifted to phone banking and text banking in such a big way that it was like, oh, well, we're using text banking for everything. But I didn't know that that was going to be the only way I could get in touch with people. And so I didn't learn how to do the text banking. Melissa was doing that for our part of the campaign, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so here we are now, within 7 days. And I haven't even been able to get people to sign up to come to the State House and hear Spike Cohen speak on Sunday.
I did sign up for that, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited. It's so interesting to me, and I was telling my husband this the other night. It's because I know Spike, you know Spike, because we're from South Carolina. We're all, SCLP, and we're a pretty tight-knit group in South Carolina. Sure. And it's so interesting to me to see all the excitement around Spike, because we know how great he is, right?
Yes.
Like, we all adore him and respect him, and we know how amazing he is not only as a libertarian, but as a person. I mean, he's an incredible person. So for me, it has been beyond anything else that's happened, because we know with this cycle, we've gotten a lot of exposure. We've gotten some traction in areas where we haven't before, because a lot of people are really fed up with the status quo. But for me, I've been especially excited about seeing people get excited about Spike, like somebody that we know, somebody that we genuinely care about and who's our friend. And so I'm really excited that we're going to have, this event on Sunday. And I really hope that we have a good turnout, because it should be a lot of fun. We're gonna have candy, right? You said there's
Yeah. So it's Halloween hangover. The idea is that everybody brings whatever candy they have left over from Saturday. We're gonna have bottles of water. We're gonna have Gatorade. Like, people should come out to the State House. Bring your chairs. Bring your tailgate chairs. Wear your mask. Come
yeah.
out. Let's hang out. Let's eat candy. Let's drink water. Get over whatever it is we drank the day before, and just learn here from Spike and learn, how did things go on the campaign trail, right? What was it like? There were places that he went to that there were 8 people. There were places that he went where there were 180 people, right? So what was that like? We know that we're not pulling the thousands of people at these rallies that we're seeing from the major parties, but let's be honest, that's wrong, right? Like, it's wrong. COVID is a thing. Coronavirus is a thing. People are transmitting this virus to one another. These are super spreader events. And every time I see one of them on the news and there are 1,000 people there, I want to be like, what is actually wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
What is actually wrong with you? I'm really frustrated by that right now. I'm frustrated by the rules being set and then broken. And over and over and over again, we're told that we have to follow their rules. And again, they don't even follow their rules. In South Carolina, our Democratic Party and our Republican Party have continually not bothered to have state conventions, not bothered to reorganize, they do not follow any of the state election laws that we have. And yet we do, the Libertarian Party does. And if we weren't following our state election party rules, I'm sure that we would be smacked for it, right? And we would be told that we were breaking some kind of election rules, but they just don't bother. They just waive them all the time. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to be playing in a rigged game in that way. But rather than whining about that, we're just going to get together on Sunday at the State House and eat candy and talk about how things could be different if, we weren't, the cards weren't stacked against us, which sadly for decades they have been. Although I want to ask you about this. So you spend more time on Facebook than I do. Have you seen, or is it me in my Facebook echo chamber, or are you in an echo chamber, or are you seeing what looks to be a third or a gold wave? Like, I think there's a gold wave happening. I think there are people who are voting libertarian that maybe didn't plan to, maybe didn't expect to, or are even surprising themselves by doing it simply out of protest. Are you seeing a gold wave? I think it's happening.
I think so too. And it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, because I have a lot of friends and even some family who have always been red or blue. There is no in between. They are red, they are blue. And I have a lot of friends who were very, very strong supporters of Donald Trump. And I would say just within the last month or two, a lot of them have started saying things like, you're right. I now see what you're saying. A lot of them have told me that they are going to vote for Joe. I mean, I do. And I really hope, I know that it's going to be really, really hard for us to win this election, right? Like, I'm not delusional. I'm not like, yeah, we're going to win. But this might be the year that we hit that we cross that threshold, right? That 5%, that magic 5% threshold, where we get major party status, where we get all the perks of being, that major party. We could do that, and then they might change the rules.
That's what I was about to say. The question is just, are they going to pull the football out from in front of us? Like,
that's what they do. They
like
make the
Charlie Brown.
But
so I think you make a good point about the major party status, but I also think there's something we could see down ballot candidates pick up some momentum. Yeah. And so we looked at where we saw not Chuck Schumer, who's the guy in Kentucky that had to debate with a libertarian candidate on the stage, right?
I can't remember his name, but he didn't even show up, right?
Oh, I don't remember. It was last Tuesday. Did he not even show up?
I'm terrible for not remembering this. There was one that they were supposed to debate, and the other guy didn't even show up. So it was just the Libertarian. And so
No, there was the one in Kentucky was a Republican and a Democrat and a Libertarian.
yeah.
And because the Democrat didn't seem to be gaining any traction, there were a lot of Democrats throwing their support behind the Libertarian candidate just to unseat the Republican. And it wasn't.
I have not heard about that. I've been out of pocket for like the last week. So
Yeah,
admittedly, I'm not up on things from the last week.
And here's the thing. So part of the reason I kind of wanted to go live tonight and talk a little bit about the election is by the time we were to record this and post it, the election's probably going to be over, right? Because we have 2 episodes in the hopper already. One of them is the negative campaign ads. We're going to put that one up this week. And then the other one is about immigration, which is a hot button topic for elections. And I think we talk a little bit about the elections, but for the most part, we're talking about border control, on a grander scale, on a bigger scale. So both of those are rolling out here this week and next week. So I wanted to talk about the election specifically. And that's part of the reason I wanted to go live tonight is to have that opportunity to say, okay, in real time, what does this look like a week out, 7 days out? On Monday night, we had our all hands call for the campaign. And I was a little disappointed that it seemed like we had gotten to the finish line and we still had a week to go. And it's like, when you're watching a football game and the team is down by like 21 points in the fourth quarter and everybody's like, this game's over, turn it off. And I get so angry because I think even if you can get to within 14, even if you can just score another point, you can get your team some more practice, you can put in, your backup quarterback, like whatever you can do to get out of the fourth quarter. Football teams don't just walk off the field if they're down by 21 points in the fourth quarter. They keep playing, right? They keep playing the game. And so I was a little disappointed because I felt like we weren't still playing the game. The flip of that is there are some people who've been dedicated to this campaign that have been giving it their entire lives. And so I can see where there's some fatigue setting in, right? Especially as a volunteer. And I haven't dedicated that amount of time to it. I haven't been giving it that kind of momentum. And then the third thing, my other piece of frustration here is South Carolinians will vote for South Carolinians. And we did not purchase voter registration data for the state of South Carolina for this campaign. And I was very frustrated by that because if all we had to do was call those voters in South Carolina and say, there's a South Carolinian running for president, and people would have paid attention. They would have taken notice. And you had some news coverage in the upstate, right? You had some local affiliates cover Joe in the upstate. Yeah. We couldn't even get them to cover her here in the Midlands. They don't ever mention her. They don't pay any attention to her at all. And part of that, I think, because it's Gamecock territory and they thought nobody cares anything coming out of Clemson, right? As opposed to the upstate being very much Clemson territory. But the other side of that is they just weren't going to give a third party any attention at all on mainstream press. And so we're having lunch. Holly and I'm like monologuing now, so just cut me off at any time. But Holly and I are having lunch today, and she says, when people say that the third party candidate can't win, specifically when people say it in the media, you just want to be like, you're why, right? Like if you would tell people about her, if you would give her airtime, if you would even pay the littlest bit of attention to her. But I think because of the coverage we've been getting from Fox News, I think there's a gold wave. And I think we're going to see it on election night. And I think it's going to take everything the mainstream media has to not admit that it's happening. In fact, I'll be interested to see how dismissive they are of us.
Well, they don't want to admit that it's happening. They don't want to talk about it because if they talk about it, then people are going to be interested and then it might grow, right? Because that's how things generally happen, which is why the mainstream media doesn't talk about third-party candidates because why would they? They're not going to give that exposure that they would the major parties. And I apologize, guys. I'm trying to fold a fitted sheet. I'm normally much better at this when I'm not live on YouTube. So
in other lessons you can learn from Parenting Porcupines live on YouTube, how to fold a fitted sheet.
Maybe that'll be an episode later. Maybe I'll go live next time I do laundry. I'll go live on Facebook and I'll teach you guys how to fold a fitted sheet.
Nobody wants that, Jessica. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody wants that.
I bet there's a market for anything, Kasie.
I dare you. Go ahead. Disagree with me, folks. Disagree. We're 14 minutes in. I don't want to spend too much time live. I honestly just thought we would talk a little bit about the campaign. But I do want to mention that we are hosting the statewide Zoom from home watch party on election night. I know. I'm kind of excited about it. We don't have as many people registered as I wanted. And what has to happen is people have to register for it so we can send them the Zoom link. On the night of the actual election results, we'll probably be promoting it on Facebook. We'll be promoting it on our own Facebook. We'll be promoting it on our the LP page, the South Carolina Libertarian Party page. But really, I'm trying to protect that Zoom so that we don't end up with a lot of crashers and a lot of, people being shitty and, just kind of nonsense happening. Like, I'd rather have some registered folks. I sent it out to our email list, all 950 of them, 244 of which clicked through. Only one of whom registered. It was Melissa. But guess what? When you're sitting at home watching the election results all by yourself, there's a lot of other people who consider that game day, and we should absolutely be on Zoom game daying together, and drinking our beer together, drinking our wine together. So hopefully we'll get some folks that are interested in that. You can leave a comment, or you can subscribe to our channel, and we'll be glad to mention. We'll bring that link here for you guys, for all of our subscribers. Election night watch party.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I felt bad though, because we went to Beef O'Brady's today, which is where we have our state meetings every month.
Right.
And she asked me if we were still going to do the watch party at Beef O'Brady's. And I was like, I got to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be over early enough, right? Like, I think it's going to be well into the early hours of the night before we figure out, what all shook down. And so I really think we're going to need to be at home and inebriated.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of drinking. It's funny because last year, or not last year, but in
2016.
Yeah, that one. I forgot what year I'm in. 2020 just anyway. I had posted that I was going to start drinking at 8 a.m. on election day, and that I was going to continue to do so until I could reevaluate the situation on 2020, the election 2020. And I regret to inform you that the situation is not better. And so
that was me on like just before we came on the air. They had NBC, was because we watched the nightly news, and NBC had this commercial on it, said something about the most unique. No, it wasn't unique. They used a stronger word than that. It was the election. This year's election is radically different, or something like outrageous like that. Some ridiculous hyperbole, but specifically they used the word different. And I was like, how is this different from any other damn election we've ever had? It's two parties. They rigged the game. They're only talking about each other and themselves. Like, this is the same election we had 4 years ago, and the same election we had 4 years before that. And you could say that the Democrats were trying to mix it up by running a black man and running a white woman. But guess what? We're right back where we were, 16 years ago, 12 years ago. So this is ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's all theater, and it's ridiculous.
For sure. And it keeps the American people in the hamster wheel. So
yeah, well, and compliant, and too busy fighting amongst ourselves to be able to fight against them. So when we think about the us versus them, as a matter of fact, somebody reached out to me. One of our LP folks reached out to me about an objection. The objections have been coming around about Spike and Joe being, and in this man's words, aligned with the Black Lives Matter movement, capital BLM. And I was like, not this shit again. Are you kidding me? I was like, I don't know how many ways we can explain this to you. Okay. So listen carefully while I break it down.
They don't want
lowercase letters. Black Lives Matter is a social justice statement, and it's anti-racist. And we as a party are anti-racist, period. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That should be the end of that conversation. Anyhow, but so as he approached me about this, I started thinking, There are opportunities to engage individuals who've not been familiar with the Libertarian Party, who don't know what's happening with the Libertarian Party. And now's the time when those fringe elements need to fall away so that the majority of the Libertarian Party, which is about liberty and about personal freedom and personal responsibility, all these things that we talk about on our show all the time, that's what we're for. That's what we stand for. And so now will be the chance to let that sort of swim ahead and emerge. All right, I'm going to stop this particular broadcast. Remind everybody again, if you're in Columbia, South Carolina, on Sunday, November 1st, come down to the State House from 2 to 4 p.m. We're going to be listening to Spike Cohen, eating candy, drinking water, gearing up for the final push here in the campaign. There'll be lots of stuff in terms of signs and giveaways, free T-shirts, that sort of thing. I mean, free T-shirts alone ought to get people out there, right?
And all of your favorite Porcupine moms are going to be there too, because I believe that Alex for State House is one of the hosts of the event. And then I believe that Melissa's coming up too. So you can come hang out with us.
That's exactly right.
If you bring a fitted sheet, I'll teach you how to fold it.
Special bonus section offered by the Parenting Porcupines moms. How to fold a fitted sheet. All right. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for subscribing. Smash the like button. Tell us how much you love us. We love you back. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.